Hi and welcome to day 13 of 30 Days of Photoshop with me, Kevin Aronson from Hampshire School of Photography. We're carrying on with our look at layers. This is day 2, session 2, looking at layers. And today we're going to look at blending modes. Blending modes. Now this is witchcraft to some of you. You've no idea what I'm talking about. Blending modes are about how the various layers in your image blend together. Let's look at this photograph here. We've got the background layer clearly visible here, and I'm just going to make a duplicate. Remember, duplicates are Command or Control J. So I'm going to select the layer, and on my Mac I'm going to hit Command J, and we have a layer. Now in this drop down box here are a whole range of blending modes, some of which have quite a dramatic effect, some of which don't, depending on what images you're blending together. But as you might expect, normal means the images look perfectly good. So when this layer, the top one, and the background is blended together with normal, nothing looks any different. Blending modes look slightly complicated in that they don't appear to make a lot of sense, but they kind of do. And the clue really is in the first word which describes each section. So in this section here, darken means in some way or other they darken the photograph. The next one is lighten, so in some way or other they lighten the photograph. Overlay, not so much so. This is all about contrast, some quite extreme. And then you've got some really crazy ones down here for specialist purposes. We're going to concentrate on the 3 most popularly used blending modes that photographers use. This isn't all of them. You can use all of them, but the ones that crop up time and time again are multiply, screen, and overlay. Let's look at screen. When I click on screen, we can see now that screen mode is blending this layer, the layer you selected, with the layer immediately beneath it. And what it does is brighten the whole screen up. If we adjust the opacity slider down to 0, it takes off the effect. So opacity at 0% means this is completely invisible. The opacity, it has none at all. If I whack it up to the other end, it has full 100% opacity, so we're seeing the whole effect. And for this picture, which is quite dark, I'm just going to adjust it to where I think suits the image. It's a really safe way of brightening the image up in a very non-destructive way. Now usually I don't use this for brightening up the whole picture, so this is purely for demonstrating, but I may want to just brighten up certain parts of it, for instance their eyes or their teeth, or certain elements in the image which look dark and just need to be brought out on their own. How we do that individually we're going to cover on another session looking at layer masks, but screen mode, you should know, is for brightening the image up. So that's where we were, and that's I think we can go quite a long way up. I don't think I want to go all the way, but maybe there, something like that. Screen mode, that's mode number 1. Let's go to the next picture. Actually, I'm going to go to the next picture. The first picture. I'm going to go to the first picture. Let's make a duplicate of that, which is Command or Control J. So all these pictures are shot over by the they're not in Fleet. This is not Hampshire in the UK. This, of course, is the Grand Canyon. And at the moment, you can see, by default, they're blended by the normal mode. I'm going to change this to darken. Sorry, I'm going to change it to multiply. And you see immediately what a dramatic effect that has. It almost looks like, I don't know, the planet Mars. And of course, it's at 100%, so I can dial this down to find somewhere that I think looks good. Starting at 0, I'm just going to crank it up until I think, yeah, kind of like that. That's really cool, but that's quite nice. So again, I rarely would use this for the whole image. This doesn't mean to say you can't use it for the whole image, but I tend to want to use this for just blending in certain parts of the image. So multiply is all about darkening. If we were to blend this by overlay, which is contrast, let's take it off for a second. That's how it was. If I crank this all the way up, remember this is all about contrast, very dramatic. incredibly dramatic. So I would just take this back a little bit, maybe to there, something like that. And there's no reason why, if I add in another layer, I'm going to hit Command J, Control J on the PC, and it brings up another one. And because it's copied the layer I was on, which was already being blended by overlay, the new one is also being blended by overlay. But I'm going to change this to multiply. And now what I've got is an image where part of the image is darkened through multiply. Let's just label these up. Multiply. And this one is, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of it. Overlay. Staring me in the face just up here. So, wow, this is quite dramatic. Let's just take off multiply for a second and go back to overlay, take that off. So there was the original picture. There's how we increase the contrast with overlay. Let's just bring it up a bit more maybe. And then let's bring in multiply. And now we're getting a very dramatic landscape. It's doing wonders for the reds. And that could be my final picture. I'm just going to show you a little trick. If you want to group some together, highlight the ones you want to group and hit Command or Control G for group, and they're added into a single group. So I click on that little arrow there, you can see both of them. But it does mean I can turn the whole group off and back on again. So that was the image before we started. That's the image after editing. Why don't you try experimenting with some of these others and seeing what effects you get, and just go as crazy as you like. It really doesn't matter which ones you pick. You can do some really crazy stuff like where are we? Linear. I mean, that looks like the planet Mars, doesn't it? My God, that's incredible. Let's just take that down a bit. Wow. You could have so much fun with these blending modes. So yeah, go away, play with all of them, see which ones you like, but concentrate on multiply, screen and overlay. These blending modes are an essential tool in your arsenal to transforming your images, to bring out the best, to bring out the right amount of dark, the right amount of brightness, the level of contrast and colours and all kinds of crazy things. There's no rule to this. You can just try one out, try the opacity, don't like it, try another one. Try more than one together, try multiple ones and just play around and see what you can get and transform your images. So if you're listening to this, watching this somewhere on the internet and you haven't come through our 30 days of Photoshop teaching series, then click onto our blog, which is phototeacher.blog, and you'll have access to all 30 days completely free of charge. And if you want access to our website where you can find out details about our workshops, and we run workshops on Photoshop and Lightroom and of course lots of photography workshops including studio and flash and so on, then check out our website address, which is gohsp.com. Have some fun with this, and I'll see you tomorrow for the next session looking at layers.